Hello, it's me again, it's Rebecca from Silver Grey Foliage. I thought today I would do a quick tour or run through of the flowers that we have, the dried flowers that we have at the moment. I've had a number of inquiries, which is really lovely, about what we still have. So I thought I would talk you through them and show you some pictures, because it is totally fine for me to give you a list. But because we dry some things that you wouldn't necessarily expect, I think it's helpful to be able to see them, and I hope that's correct. So I'm going to start with one that you'll expect. So this is Echinops. This is Echinops VTech. Still got some bluey colours. Lovely stems. So the stems are about 30 centimetres on these, and we still have a reasonable supply. Okay, number one. Number two, one of my absolute favourites from last year. This is Achillea. Really lovely again, kind of stem length, beautiful colour and shape as well. So you do have that kind of lovely kind of flat surface, but because we dry naturally, they've still got some movement and texture. It's not just a bone rigid stem. So that's number two. Third, these are gorgeous. This is Acrylinium. It's a type of straw flower, and we have some of these too. These vary in length. They've got lovely movements. Look at them, lovely movement, and lovely shape as well. It's important to know that we do post, so that if you're not in Yorkshire, you don't have to come and collect, and we don't have to deliver to you by hand. We can pop these in the post to you. That's number three. Next one I'm going to show you is one that I didn't expect to dry so well. So this is Stachys byzantia. It's a flower. We grow it for the foliage, but it's really lovely as a dried flower. So that's number three, four. There's more to come. Really lovely. It's a lovely spike or spire. You can see that it's been dried with the purple flower on. So it's got a bit of colour. Like all of our flowers, there's a bit of movement and mixture. So they're not just straight stems, which is what gives you your beautiful styles when you work with them. It's a beautiful silvery colour. It's lovely and textural, lovely and kind of strokeable, so it's gorgeous to work with. So one of the things you'll notice about our flowers is that they still have colour and they still have movement, and that's because we grow outside in Yorkshire, but the other things we dry indoors without extra heat, with a cool draft and a dark room. That's all we do. So next on your list, these are rat's tails or Limonium syroe. It's a gorgeous kind of dusky pink colour. Again, it's still got that movement because they're naturally dried. There's a variation in stem length, and we do account for that in our pricing, but really gorgeous to work with. One of my favourite drieds of 2022. This was an unexpected wonder. All of our long stems of this have gone, sadly, but this is Buplurum, which is beautiful dried, really beautiful. So we have a mixture of stem lengths, so 20 to 40 centimetres left in this. It's got a lovely kind of floret flower head. Again, you've got lovely movement. It's not kind of brittle. It's not going to snap. It's got lovely kind of sage green colour. Really lovely. I'm very pleased with this. And third on this little section, I'm going to give you this wonder. So this is Alchemilla mollis. It's still got its colour, yellow, like my jumper. And it's a lovely filler when it's dried. And it's got gorgeous long stems as well. Okay, so Alchemilla mollis is that next one on the list. We have a real range. It is January 2023, so our range is much reduced. But I really want to show you some of the things that we have now. Just looking forward to those dried weddings that are coming up in the early part of the year, so that you can get quantities of nice British, pesticide-free, chemical-free, beautiful flowers to use in your work. Okay, so next up we have Eryngium. So this is Eryngium planum. It's got a lovely small head. I'm just going to pop it closer. Again, lovely long stems. Don't have a huge amount of this left, but it makes a lovely flower dried. Real statement, real light airiness and movement, and it's still got quite a lot of the blue in those kind of upper stems. So I'll pop it down because my hands are full. Next we have Reseda. I love this. By far, Reseda is my flower find of 2022. It is supposedly a perennial, so we have left it in the ground. I love it as a flower. It's really lovely, light spike, lovely white flower, really good for wedding work. It's amazing as a dried flower or even fresh when it goes to seed. You get these lovely kind of seed pods. You see, really gorgeous. And then just the detail that comes from them is just really, really stunning. So I'm happy with this. It's dried nicely. Again, it's got lovely long stems, nice movement, slight variation in stem length, but that's the case for everything. And I'm just going to pop it down, excuse me. And third, I have brought down some Nigella seed heads. We don't have a huge amount of Nigella left. We didn't grow a huge amount of Nigella last year. That will be different this year because I love it. It's a great flower. Oh, look at those seed heads. Gorgeous kind of purples and greens. Really lovely. I'd be happy with a bouquet of that on its own. Just saying. So next up we have one of our best cut flowers from last year. We cut thousands and thousands and thousands of stems. Now this is a flower that is fantastic as a fresh cut flower and awesome, truly awesome as a dried flower. So helichrysum. Whoa, can I fit them all in? Look, so we grew a range of colours. We've got pinks, whites, reds, burgundies, oranges, yellows. We are asking that you're buying mixed bunches because there's just so many of them, but there's plenty, and so they are going to be reduced on the list that's coming out to our florists. They're a phenomenal dried flower. The other thing that we have in the way of straw flower is these. Now, straw flower are really, really lovely to work with, but they're sometimes easier to work with on a wire. So we have wired some for you. We used a lot of them over Christmas, but we do still have plenty around. They're really good if you're making a dried flower wedding bouquet because they give you a really kind of stillness to your dried flower, and you know they're going to stay where you put them. Also for things like flower crowns and wreath work, where you might want to know exactly where they're going to go and that they're going to stay there as well. So these are here, again in a range of colours for you. Not many whites left, but we still have lots of burgundies, reds, pinks, oranges, and happy to sell mixed colours as well as kind of individuals if we can. So next we have this. So this is heavily scented. It is, I guess, foliage. It's kind of a greeny grey colour, and on its own it's not particularly exciting, but use it as a backdrop to your flowers and they really pop out. So this is oregano. We have waited for it to go to seed, and then once it's gone to seed, we have dried it. It's a gorgeous texture, gorgeous filler, and it's scented. It has lovely long stems too. It's great. We have a small amount of it left. I really like using it. I know lots of our florists do as well. So I thought I'd show you what it looks like, because I know it's really difficult to imagine it as a dried flower, but it's great. So I have just one last thing on my list. This is Levatera seed head. It's gorgeous, fantastic for structural work. You see that you can just cradle things in it. Wonderful for archways and things that just have a bit of height. Wanting to give them some texture, some colour, some shape. Just thinking about spring as well will give lovely depth because of the colours, rather than just pure whites and yellows, just a bit of variation. It's wonderful to work with and really easy to reuse as well. Wonderful stems. So I just thought I'd finish by telling you how we work. So for the florists out there having a look, you can just get in contact and ask me for a copy of our price list. Florists in particular, if you're not on our list, we do post flowers. We started doing it at the back end of last year. It went well, so we will be posting flowers and foliage this year. Dried flowers post really well. Our fresh flowers, we will be picking and choosing what we're willing to send in this first year, just to make sure that it's successful and that you get flowers in the best possible condition. So that's the plan with those. These guys are available. If you're not on our list already, drop me a line. I just need some sort of evidence that you're a florist, and therefore we'll offer you our wholesale list. If you're not a florist but you love dried flowers, get in contact as well. My email address is below, and if you just drop me an email or fill in the contact form on our page, I'll get back to you. A final thing to say is that if you're after a dried flower wedding before September, October this year, then please get in contact now, because once these flowers are dried and are gone, then we won't have any more until this time, well, kind of autumn this year. So just plan ahead is what we're asking you to do. Fantastic. Any questions, pop them in the comments below. Florists and general people, please do follow. So click on the subscribe button. I'm going to be showing you a lot of the flowers that we have available for sale this year on YouTube, so it's easy for you to see and it's a bit more accessible and easier to let you know what's going on than Instagram and similar. So click on the subscribe button. Do follow along, and hopefully there'll be some interesting information for you as well about what we're growing, how we grow it, why we grow it, and so on. But in particular, if you're interested in our flowers for wholesale, then this is the place to be watching. Thank you.